You have wondered why things are not moving, why the desire you hold so dearly seems delayed, and yet within you there is something you may have overlooked. Fear. Fear is silent, but it is powerful. It whispers, what if it doesn't work? What if you fail? What if it never comes? And every time you listen, you are feeding the very thing that keeps your desire away. You may think fear is harmless because it is only a thought, but a thought felt deeply becomes a state. And a state is what creates your world. Fear is not passive. It is active creation, moving silently in the background, shaping everything you experience. Every time you give in to fear, you are rehearsing failure in your imagination. You are preparing for the worst instead of assuming the best. And what you prepare for, what you assume, life reflects it back to you. This is why it feels like nothing changes. Because you are loyal to the very thing you want to escape. Fear is imagination misused. That is all it is. It is not real in itself, but when you persist in it, it becomes real in your world. The Lord does not punish you for being afraid, but it will reflect whatever you dare to feel as true. And here is the truth. Fear and faith are the same substance. Both are imagination, clothed in feeling. One creates what you love, the other what you dread. The Lord does not care which one you choose. When you fear, you are worshipping the opposite of your desire. You are bowing to it as if it has power over you. You are declaring through feeling, this is possible for me, and I believe it. And because feeling is the secret, that belief hardens into fact. You think you are only worrying, but worry is imagination. It is a vivid scene of things going wrong. It is an inner movie that you replay so often. It begins to feel more real than the thing you actually want. That is why fear seems to have so much power. If you understood this, truly understood it, you would stop entertaining fear for even a moment, because you would know that every fearful thought is a seed, and the more you water it with feeling, the faster it grows. Fear does not come from the outside world. It comes from you. And because it comes from you, you have the power to end it. It only lives because you agree to keep it alive. Fear shows up in many disguises. It calls itself logic. It pretends to be wisdom. It says, be realistic. But what it really means is, do not dare to believe. Fear thrives when you give it reason. You start to measure the facts. You look at your bank account and you say, this is all I have. You check the circumstances and say, this is my reality. But you have forgotten the truth. Your reality is only a shadow of your state. The moment you make fear reasonable, you give it roots. You make it sound intelligent. You say, I'm just being careful. But caution, when born of fear, is still fear. And fear is imagination used against yourself. Every time you say, what if it goes wrong? You are planting a seed for wrong to happen. You water it with emotion. You shine the light of your attention on it. And then you wonder why it grew into your life. You see, fear is not passive. It is creative. And because the law is impersonal, it does not protect you from your own misuse of imagination. It gives you exactly what you dare to assume. If you assume the worst, the law says, so be it. If you assume the best, the law says the same. The choice has always been yours. You cannot hold fear and faith at the same time. You cannot occupy two states at once. And because creation is finished, the state you remain in is the one you will experience. This is why you must choose carefully what you dwell on. Fear will always try to argue its case. It will point to the evidence. It will remind you of the past. It will show you the current facts. But what you see is not cause, it is effect. If you fight the fear with force, you make it stronger. Do not argue with it. Do not wrestle with it. Simply withdraw your attention and it dies. The moment you stop feeding fear with thought and feeling, it cannot live. It collapses. Because the only thing giving it power was you. And you are greater than any fear that ever tried to control you. Fear is not proof that something bad is coming. Fear is proof that you are imagining something bad right now. That is all. You have placed yourself in a state that feels unsafe, and your body is simply responding to what the mind accepts as true. You have been taught that fear is natural, that it is just part of life. And yes, the feeling may appear natural, but only because you have practiced it for so long. You have rehearsed worry until it became a habit. And now, you think the habit is reality. But reality only mirrors you. If fear feels normal, it is not because it is truth. It is because you have assumed its lies again and again. And what you assume becomes fact in your world. This is why fear is the biggest obstacle to your manifestation. Not because fear has power of its own, but because you give it life through attention. You take the invisible and make it visible by imagining the worst. If you want to change your life, you must take back the authority you gave to fear. You must say to yourself, I am not the feeling. I am the one who chooses what to feel. And then you choose faith, not blind faith in chance, but faith in the law. Faith in your own imagination, because imagination is what shapes everything you call real. When you feel fear rise, do not panic. Do not condemn yourself for feeling it. Simply recognize, I am imagining something I do not want. And then gently move your mind back to what you do want. See the result you long for as if it were here. Feel the relief of it done. Let that feeling replace the tension of fear. And do it again and again until faith feels as natural as fear once did. The more you practice this, the weaker fear becomes. Not because the world changed, but because you changed the only thing that ever mattered, your state of consciousness. And when your state changes, your world has no choice but to follow, because it was never the world holding you back. It was always the fear you chose to believe. And now you choose something greater. Fear always pushes you into action. Not inspired action, but desperate action. When you feel afraid, you start chasing what you think is missing. You run outside of yourself, looking for security. You believe that if you do more, if you try harder, then the fear will go away. But it never does, because fear cannot be satisfied by effort. You cannot work your way out of a state. The only way out is to assume a new one. You must stop acting from fear and start imagining from faith. That is the shift that changes everything. When you try to fight your circumstances, You are telling yourself they have power. You are saying, this is real. I must defeat it. But what you fight, you feed. The more you struggle, the more you confirm the fear that created the struggle. And so the cycle continues. Fear imagines lack. You act as if the lack is true, and you keep it alive. This is why I tell you, do not chase. Do not beg. Do not fight with shadows. Stand still in the truth that what you desire is already yours. When fear whispers, what if it does not work? Answer with certainty, it is already done, not in the world of facts, but in the only world that matters first, the world within. As long as you let fear control your state, you are building your life on quicksand. It shifts beneath you because your mind is not anchored. Anchor it now in the unseen, in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Every time you return to that feeling, you weaken fear's hold on you, not by fighting it, but by replacing it. You cannot serve two masters. Choose today which one you will obey. Fear, which imagines loss, or faith, which imagines fulfillment. Your life is nothing but the outpicturing of the master you serve. Choose wisely. Replacing fear is not about fighting it directly. It is about withdrawing your attention from it. You must learn to hold your mind steady, to rest in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This feeling is the opposite of fear. When fear says, I don't have enough, you must imagine yourself already having enough, not just seeing it, but feeling the peace, the satisfaction, the security. This is the state that birth manifests from. Your imagination is the workshop of your soul. Every night before sleep, or any time you find a quiet moment, practice dwelling in the scene that implies your desire fulfilled. Live in it emotionally, fully, and deeply. Do not doubt, because your outer senses do not yet confirm it. That delay is normal. Your outer world is always behind your inner world. What you accept in your inner world inevitably comes to pass outside. One of the greatest errors is watching your reality for signs, waiting to see if your desire appears. This is where most fall into despair. Do not look for proof. You must hold your assumption as if it is a fact. Faith is the silent acceptance of the unseen. It does not ask questions. It does not fret over time. It is patient, confident, and steady. This is your true power over fear. Know that every time fear returns, it is only a shadow in your mind. Replace that shadow by recalling your fulfilled state. Your imagination is stronger than your fears. You must use it deliberately. Do not let fear make you chase what you want. Chasing only confirms lack. Instead, rest in the fulfilled feeling. See yourself living your desire now. This is the secret to dissolving fear. You were not made to be a slave to fear. You were made to create, to imagine, to believe. Turn away from fear and look inward. Claim the life that is already yours. Fear has no place there. Fear thrives in the absence of focused attention. When your mind wanders and doubts arise, fear quickly fills the gap. That is why discipline is essential. You must train your mind to remain fixed. Fix your attention on the end result you desire, not on the obstacles or the current state. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If your inner state is peaceful and assured, fear has no power to manifest outside. You are not your fears. You are the consciousness behind your imagination. This consciousness is limitless and creative. It can change your experience by changing your thoughts. You must claim that power for yourself daily. One practical way to weaken fear is through the state akin to sleep. Before you drift into sleep, enter a quiet state and imagine your wish fulfilled. Feel it so vividly that it becomes your last impression before slumber. This impresses the subconscious deeply. In that state, your mind is more receptive. Fear cannot easily penetrate. Your assumption becomes the seed from which reality grows. Repeat this practice consistently. You build a fortress against fear. Remember that every emotion you feel is a signal. If you feel fear, it shows your attention is off your desire. Redirect your feelings by imagining your desired outcome with joy. Emotion is the fuel for manifestation. Fuel your faith, starve your fear. Do not underestimate the power of small daily habits. A brief moment each day spent imagining fulfillment builds a momentum that overpowers fear's resistance. Consistent feeling is the bridge between desire and manifestation. Use it wisely and patiently. Fear may whisper lies about your worthiness. It may try to convince you that your desire is impossible. Do not listen. You are worthy simply because you exist. Your birthright is abundance and joy. Embrace your creative power. Speak to your subconscious with kindness and certainty. The world outside will adjust accordingly. There is nothing outside you that can stop what is inside you. Fear loses when you stand in your true identity. Fear is often a habit, deeply ingrained from childhood experiences. It becomes a default response when uncertainty appears. But habit can be broken. You have the power to create new mental patterns. The key is awareness. Notice when fear arises. Do not feed it with attention. Instead, gently shift your focus back to your assumption. Remember, the moment you entertain fear, you strengthen the false reality it presents. Replace fear with feeling. Feel what it is like to have your desire fulfilled. Feel the peace, the satisfaction, the gratitude. The subconscious cannot tell the difference between real and imagined feeling. This is your greatest tool against fear. Do not rely on external circumstances for validation. The world will always try to convince you otherwise. But your reality is formed inside. Within the imaginal acts you consistently entertain. Your thoughts and feelings are the only true creators. Fear fades when you become the observer. Watch fear without judgment. Allow it to pass like clouds in the sky. This detachment weakens fear's hold. You reclaim your mental sovereignty. Imagine yourself as the master of your mind. Command your thoughts with authority and love. When fear tries to enter, greet it with calm assurance. Say to yourself, "This is not my reality." Hold fast to your vision regardless. Never mistake fear for truth. Fear is a shadow cast by the unknown, but your true self is light, creative, and limitless. Choose to live in that light. Each time you overcome fear, You strengthen your faith in the unseen. You prove to yourself that your assumption is stronger. And with each victory, manifestation draws closer. Persist, and you will never fail. Fear can feel very real, but it is not your true reality. It is a shadow, a cloud passing over the sun of your being. When you refuse to give it your attention, it begins to fade away like morning mist. You are not your fears. You are the creator of your world. You hold the power to imagine and to believe. Your imagination is a sacred gift, the tool that shapes your experience. Faith is the key to overcoming fear. Faith is the inner certainty that what you desire is already yours. It is the light that shines in the darkness of doubt. When you stand firm in faith, fear cannot stand against you. Faith is not a passive hope. It is an active, living force within you. It declares to the unseen, I trust. I accept my desire is done. This declaration breaks the hold of fear. Your thoughts and feelings feed your faith. Nurture faith with love, with confidence, and with joy. Every moment spent feeling faithful strengthens your manifestation. It aligns your inner world with the life you imagine. The reality you see outside is only a reflection of your inner state. Do not be distracted by appearances of fear or lack. They are echoes of past beliefs, not the truth of what you are becoming. Faith creates a powerful magnetic force. It draws all circumstances into alignment with your assumption. When you hold fast to faith, the unseen world begins to rearrange itself for you. You must be relentless in your faith. Doubt is the thief that steals the promise of your desires. Reject doubt with all your heart. Replace it with affirm, knowing that your desire is fulfilled. Every great manifestation in your life begins with faith. Faith is the foundation on which your reality is built. The more you cultivate faith, the more effortless your manifestations will become. Your future is bright because you hold the power of faith within you. This power is stronger than any fear. Let faith be your guide. Stand boldly in the certainty of your desires fulfilled. Remember, fear only has power if you give it your attention. When you turn your gaze away from fear and fix it firmly on your desire fulfilled, you reclaim your divine power as a creator. Faith is your armor. It protects your vision from doubt and despair. No matter what the world shows you, hold fast to the invisible truth of your assumption. Manifestation is born in the quiet certainty of faith. It blossoms when you no longer waver or look back. Be patient with the unfolding. Trust the perfect timing of the unseen. Your desires are not distant dreams. They are your inevitable reality. Faith is the bridge that carries you there. Walk boldly across it and watch how your world transforms.